And now I would like to introduce to you a mesothelioma survivor. He is a wonderful, positive man that has been through so much. It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you Lawrence N. Belfer.
Thank you. This is my doctor, and this is why I'm alive. Right here. I have two different briefings that I was going to give. And I'm going to have to jump back and forth because, unlike the CIA is today, I made the changes. So anyways, got my name up there, Lawrence Belfer. It's a little story behind the end. I'll tell it to you. I joined the Navy in 1954, going through the process of becoming a sailor. The recruiting officer asked me, what is my middle name? I says, I don't have one. He says, well, you do now, and it's N. I says, what does N stand for? He says, nothing. But you got it. And I've carried it through my whole life up until now. Like I said, 75 years old. And I am a cancer survivor. All the treatments I had so far, and I'll talk about those as I go through, or I'll mention them anyways, they've all come up pretty much negative. The last oncologist looked at them and he says, Larry, we can't find anything. The first PET scan showed that they couldn't find anything either. And I remember the night of surgery, Dr. Cameron told my family that he thought he got it all. They went home happy. I was still on the gurney, going through recovery. I woke up briefly and saw my wife just seconds, and then I was out again. But anyways, I was exposed to asbestos in a couple different spots. The United States Navy, 1954, 1958. And then when I was discharged, I went to work for a company called Atomics International, where I actually worked with asbestos with my hands. And that went on for 3 years. Well, after that, I went back to school and earned a bachelor degree in engineering from Northrop Institute of Technology over here in Englewood. I went to work for companies, McDonnell Douglas, Boeing, Rocketdyne, Atomics International, and Northrop Institute of Technology. That's where I finished school. Now, before I was diagnosed, I was in a good place. I just retired in June 2010. I was retired. I had a beautiful wife whom I was married to for 24 years. We traveled the world together. I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in 2007, and I made the summit on my birthday. I was 70 years old, which was 7 days before I turned 70. I love the outdoors. I love hiking. I like climbing. But most of all, I love life. My wife and I took a trip to Las Vegas one weekend. It was her birthday. And that's when I was diagnosed. I had problems in the morning when I got up. I couldn't hardly breathe, could hardly walk. My appetite was gone. And my wife suggested we go to urgent care. We did. They checked my heart. They says, your heart is fine. They checked my lung. They says, your lung has collapsed. They put me in a ambulance and sent me over to Sunrise Hospital in Las Vegas. It's there where they made a positive diagnosis of mesothelioma. And I didn't even know what it was. It took me 4 weeks to even pronounce it, let alone spell it. However, the doctor came up with the pathology report, and she asked me, were you in the Navy? I says, yes, I was. She says, well, this is common against most Navy people in my years who were aboard ship, Navy ship, which I was. The ship was called the USS Saipan. That was named after a war battle in the South Pacific. And because I didn't know what mesothelioma was, I didn't know how to relate to it. I just took it with a grain of salt right at the moment. And when I finally learned what it was all about, and they told me that it was fatal to a certain degree, I says, well, I'll deal with it. But I went numb. The treatment options that were given to me, first of all, at Sunrise Hospital, in order to get me home, they had to drain the fluid out of the pleura, which they did twice. And finally, when I felt okay, they signed me out of the hospital. My wife and I got in the car and we went home. When I got home, I went to see my normal practitioner. She sent me to see a pulmonologist. The pulmonologist sent me to see a thoracic surgeon. That doctor's name was Dr. Stoneburner in the Torrance Memorial Hospital. And he decided that my best avenue was to get rid of the pain, and that would be a talc surgery. And I don't understand the term, but what it was to stop the infusion to the pleura, which he did. After that, I felt very good. But then came the larger question: what do I do for the long term? My wife Judith, God bless her, she took action. She went on the internet. She did her research. She found Dr. Cameron. The other battle was to get the healthcare partners to let me talk to him. They didn't like that intermingling. But anyway, she convinced them. And we both went to his office where we saw Claire, where you met Claire Cameron, met the doctor. We did like an interview, and they thought that I was a good candidate for this surgery that Dr. Cameron does. I was scared. However, after we talked to Dr. Cameron for about an hour 45 minutes, I was convinced that he knew what to do and would do it for me. And he did. I went through the surgery, came out okay. The recovery has been long. It's been over a year. Still have some swelling in my chest. However, every day it dissipates, and every day is a new day for me. The bad thing was that my wife, she died six weeks after I left the hospital. She died of a terminal disease called CJD. A lot of doctors, you probably know that. But the treatments for me started about 6 weeks after I had the surgery. And we started with radiation, 25 treatments of radiation. To back up a minute, I thought my wife would be there at my side to go through this with me, but she wasn't. But my family stepped in. My sister lives in Kentucky. She came out to be with me. First of all, the VA gave me 30 days of nursing care at my house. And I was much appreciative because they were concerned about the incision, that it didn't get infected. And she would change the bandages. She came like every other day for 30 days. And I thank the VA for that because I didn't ask for it. They just did it. The supplies that they sent, the bandages and stuff, just showed up one day on my doorstep. I didn't ask for it, but the nurse was able to use them when she came. But anyways, the 25 treatments of radiation went okay. There was occasionally some problem with the machines, and I would show up at the VA for treatment, and they say, well, the machine is broke. Got to go home, come back, we'll call you. And they were very good about that. Sometimes there was, I don't know, sometimes three different people would call me and tell me I got an appointment tomorrow, that I better be here. And I was. I also met the woman, Dr. Cameron's assistant, Gracie, a nurse practitioner. She was here today. Earlier she had to leave. And from there, I want to thank the entire staff at the Veterans Administration. I didn't have, I think the title of my talk was, How Did I Navigate the VA? I didn't have to. My wife did it all. She had it set up from the beginning. She had this disease and never said a word to me. When I found out, that was March 14th, she told my son that night that she needed to go to the hospital. That was the night I had surgery. Right after I woke up, and maybe we held hands for a few seconds. And I didn't find out that she was at the Torrance Memorial for about 3 days. I didn't know where she was. I thought she'd be down there seeing me, that I was alive. Anyways, I was happy. My experience at the VA has been excellent. I didn't have to ask for anything. They knew what I had. They knew what I needed to be treated with. There was chest x-rays almost every day. There was somebody that came around just about every time during the day and gave me something to help me breathe. Not that I had a problem breathing. I never had a problem breathing. When I was up at Kilimanjaro, I didn't have a problem breathing. And I'm sure this stuff was growing in me already. And prior to the surgery, Claire Cameron did offer me the opportunity to talk to a couple people that had gone through the surgery and were doing okay. One woman at that time was 4 years, and there was a man 2 years, and both were very encouraging. And they both convinced me that this was the doctor, and let me know how you're doing. So I think we had to wait about 4 weeks to get scheduled. We did. Here I stand. And today, based on all the testing I've had since the surgery, the PET scans have been 4 now. I had one biopsy. They thought they saw a new growth in one of them, but it turned up benign. And I still do. I'm an avid hiker, hike every Sunday. I used to be real strong. Some of the hikes I do now are the easier ones, because I lost the ability of a little lung capacity, I think, and you can see the mountains out there. That's where I used to hike. You got to go up them first, and that was the difficult part. But after I got up, I can do 8, 10 miles, no problem, and come down easy too. But it's just getting up there. That's my. They wanted me to discuss my life now, and I'm going to tell you this is it. It's routine. I get up in the morning early, about 6:30, 7 o'clock. I shower, I get dressed, I go to the beach, and I have an egg burrito every day down there for breakfast. Doesn't change. The woman at the restaurant there, she sees me coming. She has it. She has my coffee and the burrito ready. I didn't even know she was looking at me, you know. So on Sunday, I go hiking. And every other weekend, sometimes every 2 weekends, my son comes up from San Diego with one of the grandkids. The grandkids are 20, 22. Okay. They're big already, and they've hiked a couple times with me. So, how are we doing on time? Okay. I just wanted to leave you guys and any of you. I think Linda is that the girls that talked about her husband, your husband. That's how it affects the family. Everybody gets concerned, and it just everybody you know, your friends, your family, and luckily I had a family who was willing to give up their life for 3 months and come out here and take care of me. So the advice I have to mesothelioma patients, you must stay positive. Do not give up. I don't care what anybody tells you, do not give up. Stay upbeat. Look at every day like a new day, and something good is going to happen today, and it does generally. And today, I can honestly say I'm cancer-free. Thank you. Yeah, you can have it. Thanks, doctor.